Kash Patel. الله يلعنك يا إسرائيل. لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله.
All right, there he is. Look at him. Now I'm zoomed in with 10x. Let's see if we can get, that's as far as I can zoom in on him. Let's see if we can get a little closer. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. There he goes. All right, let's zoom back in. Whoops. There he goes. I'm going to walk towards him just a little bit. Beautiful. Beautiful. Didn't know if I could get him on here. Hopefully you're seeing him just like I am. Trying to hold the phone steady here. There he goes. All right. Well, we'll see if we get any more on the video here shortly. Well, we're deep in the woods again. Give you a good look-see. There's a squirrel over there. Can you see him? All right. Watching the world burn, watching the world burn. January 3rd, 2024. Let's get into it. I'll tell you what, the first two things I wanted to talk about was Elon Musk. I couldn't believe it. He actually replied to one of my posts, and it was only 2 words, but I mean, when you hear from Elon Musk, and you know, he wouldn't CC anybody else. He was replying directly to me, and he said, Manchurian candidate. And but the post that I was talking about was the terrorist attack, if I recall. And I got to think, I was going like, what is he talking about, Manchurian candidate? You know, I mean, because that was a movie, you know, about a president that was a traitor to the United States. And I thought, man, you know what? He must be talking about Joe Biden. I can't say for sure, because like I said, it was just 2 words. But when you think about it, I mean, look at all that Biden has done to destroy the United States. It's been insane. And the most recent thing that seems to me, I don't know, how many pardons is he up to right now? I mean, my God, it's, I want to say 8,000 or something like that, more than any other president in history. And a lot of these are really hardened criminals. Now, why would you let hardened criminals out onto the street unless, because you know, criminals, you know, most crimes are committed by repeat offenders. So putting all these rapists and murderers and everything back out on the street, there can only be one reason, and that is to sow chaos. But, you know, I did want to just give a message to all of the criminals. That I don't know if any of them will ever watch this video, but perhaps you might know one of them that got pardoned is be sure and tell them to go after Democrats, you know. Those are the easy targets. More than likely, they don't have a gun. And more than likely, they'll welcome a hardened criminal into their household, because that's what Democrats want. You know, think about the cities where they just let the criminals go. How can you ever be a police officer in a Democrat city? I don't even know. That must be one thankless job for sure. Man, that requires some real dedication. But anyway, so if you see a Biden sign in somebody's yard, that's where you want to rob them. That is a great target for all of these criminals that Biden has let out on the street. The second post, it wasn't a reply to me, it was an actual post by Elon Musk. And he said the quiet part out loud. And I was like, I'll be doggone. I tell you what, Elon's, he's putting out some great posts, man. I mean, but it was, he said, anybody against voter ID wants to cheat. that was more or less the gist of the post. I don't think he put the word Democrats in there, but you know, that's because California, I think it was in response to California just passed a law that there's no voter ID now in California. And the only reason they would do that, I agree with Elon, is because Democrats want to cheat. So, you know, I don't know how these people who live in these states put up with this lunacy, you know, no voter ID. I mean, obviously that's the only reason you could have it would be to cheat. The other thing I wanted to just talk about real quick is this terrorist attack in New Orleans. I don't think it's passing the smell test. Do you? I mean, why would you have a New York Post reporter in the guy's apartment or house or whatever it was with, you know, when the investigation is only 3 days old? And of course, what was funny was when the FBI said, "This is not a terrorist attack. This is not a terrorist attack." I mean, the FBI has no credibility whatsoever, do they? You know, I always talk about if an FBI agent knocks on your door, you know, just say, "I want my lawyer." Don't speak to him. But anyway, they even destroy themselves. So I think that the good news is they botched the investigation, probably purposely, in my opinion. And then of course they're incompetent, saying you know, that it wasn't a terrorist attack. I do believe that'll help get Kash Patel the nomination. I don't even think a rhino can go against him at this point. You know, I mean, all the Democrats, you know, they're the Borg. They'll all vote against him for sure. They'll vote against every cabinet member in the Trump administration. So, you know, the key was to get the rhinos on board. And, well, I mean, of course, like Mitt Romney, he might vote against it because he's not running again, right? So he's got nothing to lose. So, you know, somebody like that, you know, we have to worry about. But anybody that wants to actually get elected again, who votes against Trump's nominees, at this point, I mean, when you think about 3 terrorist attacks, holy shit. And they were all related to Fort Bragg, which I find interesting. By the way, just a tidbit on my background, Fort Bragg is where I did my urban warfare training with the light infantry when I was in the Army, after I was in the Marine Corps. And we were on our way, we were being deployed to Honduras. And so, you know, we spent, I think it was about a month there training for urban warfare. And then all of a sudden they sent us back home. I don't know why. I guess something happened. Maybe that was Oliver North. and they decided that they didn't want more U.S. troops in Honduras. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, a lot of stories there. There was a lot of snipers down there in Honduras. That was the main thing you had to worry about for anybody that was deployed there. But luckily I was not. Anyway, let's get into the video. Oh, wait a minute, more good news real quick. Was Mike Johnson, 214 to 211, I think was the vote. So he's now the speaker, so he can certify the election. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, is Mike Johnson a good speaker? I don't know. I mean, you know, that stupid spending bill that he pushed through, I certainly didn't agree with that. But Trump said, you know, he wanted Johnson for now. So I'll go along with Trump's judgment. You know, that's because I'm MAGA all the way. I'm MAGA through and through. So, and totally anti-Democrat. In everything, every fiber of my being goes against a Democrat. Oh my God. But let's get into the video. I actually made the video yesterday. So the other thing I always forget to do in these videos, and I just don't do it because I don't make no money, but I did want to explain a couple of things. You know, to be monetized on X, I have to have 500 blue checkmark followers. And I've got about 1,700 followers, but you know, most of those are not blue check marks. In fact, I'd say most of the people on X are not blue check marks. So to get 500, that's a huge leap. And then you know, of course, to monetize on YouTube, I mean, that's almost damn impossible. You got to have, I think it's 10,000 hours of watch time a month, or 1,000. I think it's 1,000 followers. You know, and I'm up to what, 414 or something. I've just been staying there because they censor the hell out of me. And then, of course, there's the Burn channel on Rumble. But you know what? I would appreciate it if you do tune into my video. They always, everybody always says it, and I said I would never do it, but hit that subscribe button or give it a like, wherever you are. And, maybe we can start getting me out there a little bit more. I don't think I'll ever monetize, but you never know. So at some point, you got to make money, right? All right, let's get to the video. So I wanted to continue on the theme of Democrat sabotage of the incoming Trump administration. And this is from Laura Logan, and she posted up from Rasmussen Reports. And I found this very interesting. It says, we've reported on the 2020 election fraud from November 2020 and focused on official state, governmental, and court adduced evidence. Some of you are new here, so let's start an occasional 2025 recap of state-by-state 2020 evidence. Now, if you didn't know, Kari Lake, she's not going to run again. She said that Arizona is just too rigged. There's just no way that she can win in that state because we're going to read what happens in Arizona and the reason why we only have Arizona. All right, so let's get to the feed here. Welcome to election deniers. Welcome back to election deniers. The only place in America voters ever get to examine all of their own 2020 ballots after certification was Maricopa County, Arizona. If you recall, all the Democrats would say was, well, none of Trump's cases, he had 20 cases and nobody, but they were all, no court would take them. They said he had no standing. So it was never adjudicated anywhere on the 2020 election. And that's because the Democrats own a lot of the court system. Even the Supreme Court wouldn't take the case. So, but we did get an audit in Arizona County. The Arizona Senate authorized and supervised this official audit by voter volunteers. And then, of course, I've got the graphic up above while I was reading this, okay? It says, this is just a woman, this is just some testimony. I would watch the ballots go by, and there were odd patterns. 7 of those ballots were for Biden, 1 for Trump. 7 for Biden, 1 for Trump. 7 for Biden, 1 for Trump. That clearly doesn't. That's not statistically possible. Fake ballots were found. And there's a link here. I'm not going to go there because I want to read the rest of it, and we'll come back to that link. Plus, I'm out here. I'm actually surprised that I've got a connection here because the last time I was here, when I'm this deep in the forest, I normally don't have a connection. So anyway, we'll see if it actually works. There were a lot of things we noticed that were not organic. The bubbles being filled in absolutely perfect fashion. It was obviously not done by a human hand, as though they were printed. A human being did not do that. To do this requires proprietary AZ ballot software access. The volunteers stop and look at a ballot. The paper was very, very thin. The paper was really thin because when they moved it, gestures as if waving a fan, it was really thin. Only one official ballot paper type was approved in Arizona. 10 types were discovered by voter volunteers. And of course, here's the graphic. I've got that above for you now. All counted ballots in Maricopa County were printed on 80-pound vote secure ballot paper, except they weren't. 10 different types / weights of paper were found by the volunteers who examined the 2.1 million ballots. And I've got there's a cutout right here. We have that above. The thing I don't understand is why in the world, if you're a Republican in Arizona, why are you letting them cheat like this? Why are you letting the Democrats cheat? I don't get it. Where's the Republican Party? And supposedly, other than the governor, I think they've got a Republican, what state Senate and the House. I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. And those non-conforming ballots exceeded 200,000 in number. And there's another graphic here. There's a great first-person documentary of the 2020 Arizona audit voter volunteers attesting to all of this. It's here, and that concludes for today your Arizona 2020 refresher. And then if you click on it, it goes to Rumble. And then addition 1. Maricopa County says many things their voters personally see and touch are fabrications of imagination. The 2020 Vote Secure ballot paper issue is one of them. Their county reply is this screenshot package, and I'll put that up. It's another link, but I don't want to click on it because I don't want to lose my bookmarks. So we'll get that up here in a minute. All right, so let's continue with the next post. Now, this is a video that I want you to watch. Incoming border czar Tom Homan. We got a record number of known gotaways. Over 2 million people entered this country. We don't know who they are. This country is in grave danger. We need to secure that border despite what happened in the last 2 days. Despite this administration is not stopping. They're still releasing thousands of people every week through the CBP One app. And let's watch that video.
The threats aren't over. I've been on this network for 4 years talking about the threats coming across our southern border. And, we got a record number of known gotaways. Over 2 million people enter this country. We don't know who they are or where they came from or what their purpose to come to this country. They weren't vetted, they weren't screened, they weren't fingerprinted. We don't know who they are. And since the Border Patrol and CBP arrested well over 300 people on terrorist watch list, how many of that 2.2 million who escaped apprehension, who escaped vetting, who escaped fingerprinting, came from country sponsoring terror? Even Christopher Wray, the director of FBI, said numerous times under testimony in front of Congress, said this is the biggest national security vulnerability he's seen. I agree with him. So we're not out of the woods. This country is in grave danger. We need to secure that border. And despite what's happened the last 2 days in Las Vegas and in New Orleans, this administration is not stopping. They're still releasing thousands of people every week through the CBP One app, the ACHMV program, and Border Patrol continues to release people in this country without proper vetting. This is not a good thing, and I can't wait for the new administration to take power and secure this border and protect our national security.
Well, the police chief was...
All right, so you can see that the Biden administration continues to bring people in. We just had 2 terrorist attacks. I heard on the way out here that the Democrats right now have a 40% approval rating. I want to know who these brain dead people are, man. How can you look at the Biden administration and approve of what has been taking place? Riddle me that, Batman. Somebody somewhere. I mean, at least we got 60% sane people, but who are these 40%? I mean, are they just, I call them meat puppets, but my God, they can't all be meat puppets. Just look at the Afghan pullout. That was when I just went nuts. Just that alone. If that was the only thing the Biden administration did wrong, instead of importing 30 million illegal immigrants, bankrupting the United States. Janet Yellen she's saying she's going to bankrupt the United States. Now, she didn't say those words, but more or less she's saying that, when Trump gets in and his new treasury takes over, there ain't going to be nothing left. Trump's going to have a hell of a mess. And he's talking about lowering taxes. I don't know. I'm all for lowering taxes because all the government does is steal the money anyway. But right now, what was the last number? Somebody said, people keep saying 35 trillion. No, we're at 36 trillion and going, man. I don't, and they're saying the stock market's going to crash in 2025. I bet there's going to be a 50% haircut. Getting to Israel, I haven't talked about Israel in a while, but this is Pepe Escobar. In the past 15 months, Israel dropped the equivalent of nearly 6 Hiroshima nuclear bombs on Gaza. That exceeds the entire combined bombing of Dresden, Hamburg, London, and Tokyo in World War II. History will be unforgiving. But it's not a genocide. No, it's not a genocide. No, go talk to a Christian. They'll say, oh, we got to kill all the Palestinians because the Israelis, they need that territory. Anyway, never mind. Breaking. This is an interesting one. U.S. households' allocation to stocks as a percentage of financial assets rose to 43.4% in Q3 2024, an all-time high. This is the Kobayashi letter, by the way. This percentage has surpassed the previous record of 41.7% in Q4 2021, according to the Fed data. Household stock allocation is now even higher than at the 2000 dot-com bubble peak in 38.5%. Meanwhile, the top 10% of households now own 87% of all stocks, with the top 1% owning half of them. At the same time, the bottom 50% holds just 1% of all equities. Truly unprecedented times. And of course, you know, you've got the graphic up above. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're holding stock, I mean, if you got the right stocks, I mean, you know, like I own mining stocks. I think that even when the market gets cut in half, the mining stocks are going to drop, but they're not going to drop the same amount as like a Google or a Tesla or a Facebook. I mean, who the hell owns Facebook? Why would you want to own? I mean, I still hear on the radio, well, where can they find you? Well, I'm on Facebook. And I'm like, who the hell uses Facebook, man? Why do you want to be on Facebook? Oh my God. I mean, I really, really enjoy X. I mean, I get a lot of, I can't show this video. Yeah, I can. Because, well, let's see. The CCTV shows New Orleans ISIS attacker nearly killed, because nobody gets killed in this shot, but it shows the car zooming by. So I'm going to put that video in here. Hopefully I won't get a strike on the video. I can always take it out later, but yeah, see, person got out of the way. So YouTube, I didn't show any death, man. I mean, I know what happened later, but at least in this video, thank God these people got out of the way. And so I don't want to be on a positive note that some people were able to rescue themselves. And then here's some more cam footage from New Orleans ISIS attacker. I don't know if I'll have to watch this one. I might not be able to show that one. All right. And this is General Mike Flynn. And we'll wrap up the video here. Just keep it short and sweet. Don't discount a scenario where the White House considers deploying U.S. military forces on the streets of America to provide security assistance to some of the upcoming large events. The left and those leading inside and outside will leverage or create any and all excuses to remain in power. Sorry to be such a rainy day guy here, but my sense is a peaceful transition is off the table. I'd appreciate any feedback, insights, and certainly any reporting of the U.S. military activity in and around high-profile events. And I agree with them. And by the way, I got some footage here from DC Drano of the Cybertruck blowing up. It's actually a really good shot.
Copy. Copy.
Boy, I tell you, I mean, by the way, if you didn't know, the guy was inside the truck when it blew, and I guess he took a gun and he had shot himself in the head. So he committed suicide before he blew up, or the vehicle blew up. So it was a suicide mission. So the guy was definitely out of his mind. Well, I didn't mean the pun there. I mean, his mind was gone after that. But yeah, so they're still testing the DNA evidence. I mean, can you imagine the body must have just been shredded by the explosion and everything else? I mean, oh my God. So, all right. This is Alex Jones. NATO has carried out a coup against the Romanian people and is openly establishing a dictatorship. The populist anti-globalist winner, Callan, I was going to talk about this. I'm glad I got this post. George SCU has decried these actions as outrageously naked tyranny. Breaking news and reports, and he's got a video here. Now, if you didn't know what's taken place in Romania, is the opposition candidate, who the populist candidate, okay, he won the election by a landslide. And then they said, oh, it was Russian interference with TikTok. I mean, I can't believe that the liberals or the globalists go there on everything, right? It's always Russian interference. Russia interfered in the election. Trump is a Russian puppet, you know. And then it turns out, I mean, it's always confession through projection. It turns out that Hillary Clinton was the Russian puppet, and so was Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was snuggled up with the Xi over in China. I mean, so the Democrats are always the traitors, but they accuse Trump of everything that they're doing. It's just unbelievable. But we'll get into the next one. This is big surge. Russian forces completed the capture of Kraskov today, effectively wiping the southeastern Donetsk front. 2025 begins with Russian victory on one of the key strategic axes of the war and an end to the decade-long siege of Donetsk. I put up a really good link on X of a video I found on YouTube, and it was talking about it. Well, in that video, and I haven't found anything else that says this, but they're saying that the Russians are on a massive offensive. It makes sense. Happy New Year in Ukraine. We're coming for you. And it just looks like they, because they got, good God, 700,000 troops now in Ukraine. So it is about time for them to really go on the offensive. So if you believe that video, it's very well done. If it wasn't real, I'll tell you what. I mean, because if nothing else, you got to look at a lot of the Russian hardware in the video. But if you're not on X, obviously I can't copy that video and put it on YouTube or The Burn on Rumble. Remember my channel, The Burn on Rumble. Peace out. Stay free. I got to get back before it gets dark. Don't want anything eating the boondog. Man, I tell you what, this is a great place to hike. I'm at Sunny Hill West again. I've seen more deer. I mean, I got some on the video, but unfortunately, I'm pushing his basket, and it makes a lot of noise, and so it frightens off the deer, so I can't get them on video. But man, I bet I've seen about 12 deer so far since I've been here. All right, that's it. Well, I had two more things I wanted to add to the video before we get into yesterday's work. Was 17 more days. 17 more days. That's all we have left to put up with that Manchurian candidate, that bumbling fool, that decrepit old man, that corrupt old man that's in the White House right now. His name is Joe Biden, that the Democrats elected and would have voted for again. You have a Democrat neighbor, ask him, would you have voted for Joe Biden again? And the answer's going to be, yeah, I would have. I'm just a meat puppet. The other thing that we have to be happy about is this could bring back small business. As you know, the Democrats destroyed most all small businesses during the jab. And so now that Trump's going to be in there, a lot of them were on hold because, good Lord, if Kamala Harris had gotten in there, what would be the point of starting a small business? The Democrats would have put you out of business or regulated you out of business. So now there's hope. So that should give us a bump in the economy, but there's so many things that are going to go wrong. I mean, you're going to have a housing market crash and a stock market crash, and everything else is going to happen, I believe, in 2025. There's been too much damage done by the Democrats. You just can't turn it around and just by passing some tax cuts and a few other things that Trump's going to do that was going to help out. But good God, if he hadn't been there, we would have been at the mercy of the Democrats. So anyway, just wanted to get that one more positive note on the video.